Well, it's 10 to 6, and this is the part of the trip we've been most nervous about. I've got my dodgy ankle, and we're going to do a 3-day trek through the Amazon. We've packed a backpack that we didn't know we had to bring. Luckily, this is what I had some of my luggage in anyway. We've got no proper clothing, but we're told that we're going from winter here at about 3,600 meters into summer type of weather in the Amazon. We're starting with a 55-kilometer cycle ride, which is mostly downhill. I can't wait to see how we do, or don't do.
First, we pick up the bikes in an ugly part of town at the top of Cusco and then drive for a couple of hours till breakfast. Here we are queuing, and you'll notice it's a spot that every other person has also picked. Loads of other people going by bike, and then it's off onto the hundreds of miles of dirt roads it feels on this trip, past railway tracks, and on into the countryside and the first sight of the Andes climbing before us. Then obviously there's the hairpins as you get up, look down the hillside to see what you've just driven up, and it's not for the faint-hearted. You really are up against the edge, as you can see here, and that bus didn't stay in front of us for long. Our driver always wanted to overtake to maximise the amount of time we were going to get on the bikes. There we are, cresting over the ridge onto a brief bit of tarmac and then down towards the spot where we will get kitted out for the cycle ride.
Well, here we are. This is where we're going to start the cycle ride, and I tell you what, my legs are already jelly from the ascent and the partial descent. I am bricking it.
You get kitted out in more protective gear than a stormtrooper. Here's a montage of photos that they take for you before you venture onto those dangerous roads. They're not really that dangerous, but you think they're going to be because of the amount of clobber you've got on. As you've noticed, I'm too big for it, or they were too small for me. So you assemble as a group and then you are off, freewheeling down the mountainside. So there's very little effort, and luckily our cameraman is the driver, skillfully navigating the roads with one hand without us as passengers, thank God. You'll notice an incredible number of hairpin bends and these beautiful streams that constantly catch you by surprise and soak your shoes and bottom. But really, you don't mind. Even in all this gear, you don't get over hot. Now, enough of the actual speed, which feels loads slower watching it than it is on the bike. Let's speed things up so you get the sense of the drama you actually feel when you're cycling. And after nearly an hour of downhill, you get to your first scenic lookout, pop out, grab some photos, enjoy the view. Gaze out at a gorgeous valley and wonder at the route that you're going to take. Yep, it looks terrifying but relaxing because you're only freewheeling.
And what a ride it is so far. It really is all downhill. Gravity's doing all the work, but being over 18 stone means I'm constantly on the brake. So my arms are killing me, but my bum is fine, and so is my leg. That's where we've come from, and this is where we're going.
Time to mount up and listen to what it actually sounds like on the bike. So the sound actually increases the sense of drama, makes you think you're going faster than you are. The bends just keep coming at you, and that also adds to the thrill because you're constantly shifting your body weight, anticipating the line you're going to take, avoiding the oncoming drivers, splashing through endless streams, getting wetter and wetter and happier. The most dangerous moments on the mountain are when the driver overtakes you so he can take pictures like this, you looking happy and simply glad to be alive.
Well, this is pretty good, but it's also pretty dangerous. Nearly got killed by our own minibus. Well, hope you're enjoying the view as much as I am.
I know I sound quite cheerful there because I'm a bit of an idiot. I was holding the handlebar with just one hand when the minibus pulled in front of us because I was filming with the other. Another montage of loads of hairpins before we get to the first signs of civilization. And here is some of that first-person footage that I risked injury for. I'm filming as I cycle away, which is why our guide has got so far ahead of me as we come into rather a poor little town which is typical of Bolivia and Peru. Now, because the view is always changing and the bends just keep on coming, you really do feel you could do this happily all day. But our guide was up against a couple of deadlines. He wanted to get us to the Eco Lodge so that we could have our lunch and then hit the whitewater rafting, which we didn't realise departs at set times. The other imperative is for the driver. He wants to leg it out of here and get back to Cusco in good time. So I suspect our cycle ride was cut short. Still great though. We still sound happy with those Formula One sound effects. And so we pull in off the road, strip out of the incredible protective clothing that's kept us going but also warm, visit the all-important toilets, thank God, and then admire the universal form of transport, the tuk-tuk, before we get back into the minibus and head out through very small towns towards the Eco Lodge, I said it correctly this time, that we're going to be staying at. We park at the side of the road, check out the river we're going to walk beside, and then
on our way now to the Eco Lodge down by the side of the river, and if I've got the nerve, some rapids.
This bridge really does make you feel that you're walking into the wilds, away from civilization, as we trundle up towards the coffee plantation. A last view of the river and then into the concealed entrance up into the Eco Lodge, which is impressive but primitive. You'll love it, I think. We did. Wash your hands before lunch, gaze at the makeshift bar, here's a glimpse of the food coming up, and then it's time for the obligatory demonstration about coffee, because they want to sell you some. It is slightly interesting and you've got nothing else to do. Chicken's happy too.
The interior of the Eco Lodge.
Spacious, airy and protection from the insect.
Here's the bathroom. Ooh, wow. Well, that's actually quite spectacular.
Then it's straight out for the whitewater rafting. You get kitted up, join another group because big groups make more money, take a very short minibus ride and then into the rubber boats.
Stop! Forward!
We had a brilliant guide and loads of fun with the new group.
Stop! Stop! Celebration! Look my camera!
He drilled us on the safety techniques, in particular getting your feet secure and then jumping down into the base of the boat when you hit rough water.
Forward! Guys, get down, get down, get down!
He spun the boat around so that we got that feeling we were out of control, that element of danger. Of course, we were always safe. It is thrilling. I'll stop talking now and you can listen to the sound of our laughter.
Get up! Celebration!
As you can see, we gelled as a team quite quickly.
Forward! Forward hard! Forward hard!
They were all 20-somethings, an Australian and 2 people in the American military. They were naturally sporty and competitive, which made this fun. Another advantage is that it made us very good at following instructions, as you can see and hear. It makes the trip 2 hours worth, incredibly engaging and loads of fun bouncing through the white water.
Forward! Stop! Forward. Get down, get down.
The battering waves really do make it feel like an adventure.
Get up. Forward hard.
Our instructor really enjoyed motivating us and giving us celebrations.
Celebration team. Hard. Stand ahí, culiao. Forward hard. Forward hard, hard, hard. Strong, forward hard. Stop.
As you can see, he also wanted to overtake everyone else on the river. We loved it.
Forward, forward, together.
And then he steered us towards the landing beach where people got off ready to jump off some tall rocks.
Stop.
I would have absolutely loved this, but there was no way I could leap with my twisted ankle. I was gutted but entertained. Here's images of our crew. Sadly, the backflipping Australian boys weren't captured by the cameraman.
You kept your sunglasses on.
Then it was off to a super freezing waterfall.
Get down, get down, get down. Get up.
And here we all are, laughing through the freezing cold. Enjoy. And then back to the boats for the trip home.
Forward, forward. Forward. Get down, get down. Get up.
Well, back from the rapids, that was a ridiculous amount of fun. It was grades 2 and grade 3, so nothing dangerous and just hilarious. Really great way to meet people. Lasted forever, and I'm still soaked and not cold. Recommend. Homeward trip.
Check out the difference. Oh, thank you very much.
The Eco Lodge was still under construction, but still a marvellous place to stay. You really felt you were in a genuine part of the Amazon, which you were. It's a coffee plantation, and the level of detail for your comfort, I think, was pretty high. Here are some coffee beans being dried outside, and let's move on to...
This is where the coffee beans and the coca leaves dried. Every home needs one of these. One of the reasons that the coffee beans taste so great is that they aren't intensively farmed. They're mixed with other crops, and that gives them these fruity flavours.
Just behind the excellent accommodation is the farm. You get chased away by the dog. And of course you don't need to take this behind the scenes tour, I'm just nosy.
So you really get the sense of how this place is under construction, improving month by month. It's really great to support it actually. Here are the completed cabins, looking very exotic in the foliage. That's ours with the washing over the banisters. And now let me just give you a twirl. Here are the ones under construction. Looking very impressive. Look at the height of that. Luxury penthouse coming your way.
Our guide was keen to show us how the beans are separated. And it's surprising what you can enjoy when there's no Netflix. Luckily for you, I've shortened this sequence by a lot. Here's Deirdre admiring the fire that's going to roast the beans, and then they're separated into a bowl before being placed in this very fire. Who doesn't like a bit of hypnotic flame, or indeed some jaguar skins and snakes in a jar? I know it's not to everybody's taste, but you might as well watch it and enjoy the real life. Listen to the blowpipe, increase the flames. The excitement is building. Well, not really. I love the sound effects, but I prefer the food. Here the food was excellent. This is the mosquito net, and I genuinely didn't get bitten.
That netting. Good morning. It's the start of day 2, heading off for breakfast. Then we've got 16 kilometres of the Inca Trail. I don't know how uphill that is, and I don't know how good I am compared to an Inca. Apparently, they could walk 100 kilometres in a day, which is utterly astonishing. Hopefully, I'm not going to feel too astonished. I'll just be awed by the wonders of where I am and not in pain. Oh yeah, 30% DEET successful so far, bite free.
Breakfast was so good I forgot to film it and wolfed it down, and then it was off to what is laughably called a taxi for the ride to the zip wire. Here's the kind of road that you're travelling on. Not just a dirt track, but a precipice. I sat this side of the car in order to increase my level of fear and jeopardy, but you might feel better sitting on the other side. You have to get used to feeling out of control on this trip. I'm sure you were totally safe. These roads are driven by loads of villagers every day. This kind of bridge is probably driven by, I don't know, 20 people a day.
So here we are, the beginning of the Inca Trail. Let's see how we do.
We're looking at coffee beans in a plantation, and we're going to stop there for a drink and an unpleasant lecture. We looked around this very basic farmstead, grateful that we could contribute to the economy by buying some overpriced water. It was well worth it. And then our guide told us all about the properties of the coca leaf, a natural drug which allowed the Incas to perform surgery. Here it is, you chew it, it makes your lips go numb, and so does your cheek. It stops the pain and gives you energy. Here's a farmer who doesn't look like he's had any. He's not very energetic, but then he's at altitude and, it's boring. Not so boring for the chickens. They loved my company, and then I loved everybody else's company, including the butterflies. And then we are off, back up the trail.
Quick stop to put on suntan cream and mosquito repellent.
Listen to that breathing.
Well, this climb is relentless, and I'm starting to regret the 20-minute chat about the history and property of cocoa leaves. Much rather have got that information at different stages, because now we're going to have to keep going to make up time, and it ain't easy. This should make you laugh. Inca Trail, skulls ahead.
Halfway up the mountain, there's this wonderful rest stop with great views. Those are the Australians who were paddling with us on the whitewater. And here's a picture of my coffee and the alcohol that the guides drank. Time for group photo.
So this is my face after I discovered you could pay 10 soles, £2, to have your backpack transported by car. Nobody offered us this, and we were desperate not to carry backpacks. It's so funny. There we go, steps, steps, steps.
Being at altitude has given me a surprising level of fitness despite the pain, but poor old Deirdre has got really tiny legs, and these steps are often really large. She was fuming.
Welcome to the highest point.
So we took the opportunity to get our breath back and gaze down at the valley below, the river that we started at. So you got a sense of triumph. There's always a view of a snow-capped volcano. And then our guide insisted that we take lots of images of ourselves sitting on the precipice, enjoying this momentary level of flat before the terrifying descent. And boy, would I be terrified. Sheer drop to your left, no handrails.
This is the first part where we haven't had a sheer drop down that side. It's the first time I could film. Twisted ankle, holding onto the rocks. Squeaky bum time.
Here's a view of what it looked like from our next resting spot, which was a fabulous panorama. The Australians are chilling out while I get ready to face my fear.
No tienen miedo. So here we are, special throne to take in the view. This is me pretending to be completely relaxed. Oh dear me, fear of death.
Then it's on to a toilet stop at someone's house and a look backwards to the promontory we've just walked on. It looks spectacular, it is spectacular, and never be without that view of the volcano. It is gorgeous and sumptuous, and that's why you've come. Also, dogs, they're pretty cute, aren't they? You find them absolutely everywhere. Here we are at someone's house, using the toilet, checking out the washing and the chickens.
So, we have a shortcut.
We've got to go now.
So it's on the easy bits of the path that I get left behind, because you can see me looking down all the time. I have to keep checking the terrain so I don't turn my ankle again. It's quite funny. So Deirdre's going to get the taxi back because she's exhausted, and I might have to get the taxi back because I'm too bloody slow. And this is what I mean by a lovely easy path. Could be anywhere in the world, just enjoying the scenery. But you're not, you're in the Amazon. Well, beautiful change of terrain, beautiful colours, light and shade, well worth it. Because of the way the path bends here, people could be 60 metres ahead of me or 400 metres, I've absolutely no idea. Just hope I'm not holding them up too much. Well, here we go, this is the home stretch to lunch. A little bit of an anticlimax that a road is being built here, but gosh am I grateful. Flat surface. That was a brief interlude of road, and now we're back on the Inca Trail. So back on the wide path, which should be the easiest, but it's got loads of loose stones and you can't really tell whether it's going to be flat or slightly tilted. So I've asked Johnny to get a taxi for us. A sign of civilization, but not where we're stopping, thank God.
But in live commentary, I was totally wrong. This is indeed where we are going to have a rather disappointing lunch, but a long rest.
Second soaking of the hat. Now there is water. So that should keep the salt out of my eyes.
It's a 2-hour lunch break to give the guides time to nap and the guests. You can use the hammocks or just admire the watery, tempestuous view. Here's the sound at normal volume. Then back inside for the wait.
Everyone else has gone, and our guide has decided he's going to take advantage of the taxi that we're having, and he sent the other member of our group off with another guide, which I find absolutely hilarious. And it's going to cost us about £20 for an 80 or 90 minute taxi ride, so that we don't have to do the walk. We'll rendezvous with everybody else at the hot springs. I can wait, but you might like it.
Another quality family car called Fast and Furious. And we soon discover that the reason for the time it's going to take is we're stuck in the middle of road construction. This is a big deal because tarmac is as rare as gold in this country. We're back on the dirt track. Enjoy the sound effects of men at work. It captures the sort of ambience we went through. It's super exciting. Here we are, released, and here we are, trapped in a queue. This is our driver talking to his mate, who he insulted as a capybara. You really had to enjoy the Spanish banter. Then we're off again to the hot springs. These have a range of pretty warm pools, nothing that hot, in a spectacular setting. I'll give you a few little glimpses here because there's loads of people hanging around in swimsuits, and the last thing they want is their bodies plastered all over YouTube. But there is a little flavour of the size, of the mood, of the views, and the sound of running water. Great news, the toilets are nearby if that acts as a prompt, like Pavlovian style like it does for me. Afterwards you can have a beer or a souvenir, or indeed both, in this tiny little enclave of bars and shops. Give you a little flavour of it here. It's full of Westerners who have been delighted to soak themselves. They haven't yet realised that they have been bitten to high heaven as they got changed. This bizarre dog seems like a local breed. It reminds me of Anubis, the god in Egyptian mythology. Then it's time for a real taxi to take us to our very basic but quite comfortable accommodation. It's called the Matrimonial Room, the smallest double bed I've ever slept in. Then it's off out to a super colourful restaurant down a back street with delicious food specialising in the many varieties of Peruvian potatoes. We must have tried all 40 on this trip. This is a quick daytime look at Santa Teresa, the town with the hot springs we stayed in overnight. It was actually washed away in a huge catastrophic flood a few years ago, so this is the new pristine village. This is the same restaurant we had dinner in, and just check out the remarkable views of the valley you get here, and you can see from the steep sides how devastating a flood must have been to the village below. Breakfast is super high quality and delicious, and then it's off on the dusty, bumpy roads again, ready for the joys, or otherwise, of the zip line.
So we have arrived at Zipline City.
The cost was only about £35. It's spacious and roomy while you get changed, and check out the massive route.
So we're heading off on what promises to be 90 minutes of fun and terror. And this is the chic look that I shall be sporting for this section of the video.
The first zip line is only, I say only, a quarter of a mile long. This is what it looks like when you're out there.
Do I have to? One like that?
Deirdre not sounding too excited and certain there, but the excitement is coming. My turn.
Ready?
No sé. ¿Tengo a sentarme o no?
Yes, sit down, please.
Aquí?
Yes, slowly, slowly, slowly.
Slowly.
I found the sound even more exhilarating than a jet engine. Just listen.
Excelente.
The next one is over half a mile long, so there is a bit of a climb to get the height to make that huge extra distance. Ladies always go first in the Sales household.
Yeah. I would.
And then it's my turn. Let's practice some Spanish.
Manos abiertas todo el tiempo. Abre las manos.
Abre las manos, dos.
Open your hands, yeah.
Sí,
all the
así.
time.
Vale.
1, 2, 3. Vamos.
Adiós.
You are in the air for a long time. I've actually cut this down for you so you can get the drama without getting bored. But in real life, it ain't boring. Line 3, quarter of a mile, but it is loud.
That's it. Hands wide. Hey! Okay, let's see if I get this right. Arms wide. Las manos por aquí, ¿sí? Bueno, cuando estamos listos. Gracias.
It's like launching a beached whale, but I get to practice Spanish.
That was so different. Oh my god.
If you don't like heights, the suspension bridge is terrifying.
It's big steps.
Yeah.
Look at the size of those gaps. Deirdre is 5 foot tall. on a good day.
Well, this isn't as fun as it looks, because you have to look down, which is never good, and I'm only using one hand because I've stupidly decided to film, which makes it scarier. You worrier. Not so much fun, is it?
And then the instructors think it's a great idea to wobble you from behind. Well, at last we're over the biggest gaps, the home straight.
So you can see the sweat dripping off of me here, because this has genuinely been scary and loads of effort with just one hand. Ay, ay, ay.
Now it's time for the final descent, which you do in a Superman position, and that hurts if you're big.
Last 2-minute walk up the hill. Luckily my ankle is doing well, and it's only my forearm that's killing me from holding on with one finger while I held the camera. Oh, Jesus.
For the Superman position, you turn the harness the other way around, so all the pressure is on your chest and neck. Somehow, I still look happy. Return to marvel at the next victims, and then it's the wobbly road. The road takes you alongside the river to the hydroelectric dam and the beginning of the railway to Aguas Calientes, the gateway to Machu Picchu. It's a short and scenic stroll past loads of stalls to find the restaurant. Here it is with the sounds of excited backpackers as we mount the stairs. Exciting decor and so-so food. You're ready to go.
So is over, and 3-hour walk apparently, with only 5 minutes of the steep. We shall see. I'm extra strapped up and extra excited because it's the last expedition. Hydroelectric or Machu Picchu.
This is the only genuine climb, and luckily it lasts about 5 minutes. For once, the guide did not kid us.
This is the moment in the day when I forget I haven't taken my pills. My ankle's killing me. I'm so glad these are here. Discovering you don't have to go over the bridge.
The Peruvians don't do graffiti well, but nature, well, that is something else.
It's actually like a lovely summer stroll. You've got the river, which you can hear on the left, loads of dappled shade and sunlight, and it's only the pain that's making me sweat. But it's worth it. I recommend the walk. Very nice.
The bridge is wonderfully scenic, and up in the distance you get to see the rising peak of Machu Picchu, which is quite spectacular. He's looking the other way because everything's gorgeous here. There it is, Machu Picchu! But it's a 3-hour stroll, so let's get strolling.
There are all these inviting little stops on the way up. Obviously we're not taking any.
The dog is pooped, but we are full of beans, walking happily, and so are the other people coming towards us, chit-chatting away like young people do. There's even a flipping jogger. Unbelievable! More train tracks, more amazing views, and much, much more sweat.
Time to wring out my hat or wash it. Successfully soaked in the stream, and now doggy Hey, come on doggies, show me the way. Machu Picchu!
Then with 45 minutes left, there's time for a refreshing drink stop. Annoyingly, I dropped my DJ Pocket 3 at this stage, and so you'll have to make do with photos, proof that we actually relaxed. And then Machu Picchu is ahead. We are nearly there. Here is the welcome sign, and Deirdre being
Yes.
welcomed, and me following behind, as always.
Welcome to Machu Picchu! Here at last.
Well, that is a bit of false advertising, because you've still got the stroll by the river, the many stops to take photos, and the many people passing you going God knows where.
Aguas Calientes.
Look at me getting all excited about the Spanish, listen to the sound of the water, and then we'll finish with a view of where we're going. See you in the next video.